Okay, so this is your study guide. This video will go over your study guide. Now, remember, when we talk about our formulas, we need to remember our triangle. If you like that, if you don't like it, remember knowns versus unknowns. So in this case, we're looking for speed. So we know speed equals distance over time. So in this case, we have our distance of 30 meters and our time of 11 seconds. Let me get the calculator, maybe. So 30 divided by 11 gives me an answer of 2.7 meters per second. Remember, if I want to do this as the triangle, I am more than welcome to. So I have my 11 seconds, I have my speed, and I have my distance of 30 meters. Alright, now if I am looking for distance, I know that my givens are going to be speed and time. So remember, distance is on top of our triangle, so distance equals speed times time. So 70 meters per second times 12 seconds gives us, we're going to cancel out our s's because they're on opposite sides of the line, because we have our answer of 70 times 12. So it gives us 840 meters times seconds over seconds. So we get rid of these two to just get our 840 meters. Okay. Now find time when we're given that. So time. So if speed is distance over time and distance is speed times time, time is going to be distance over speed. So we take our 30 meters divided by our 17 meters per second. These two will cancel out, and we get our 30 divided by 17 gives us an answer of 1.76 seconds. Okay, so remember, if we have this, we're always looking for our division if they are on opposite sides of the dividing line, multiplication if they are on that. So now, coming to this one, we're talking about momentum. So momentum is P, remember? So P is momentum times volume, or mass times velocity. Sorry, brain cramp. Alright, so P equals M times V. So I take my 20 kilograms, multiply it by 5 meters per second. So it gives me an answer of 100 kilograms meters per second. Okay, that's the unit we use for momentum, so that's perfectly fine. So we have, in this case, we have our momentum. We're just looking for our mass. So mass is going to be P divided by V. So our momentum are 13 kilograms meters per second divided by 5 meters per second. Meters per second cross out. So we have our 13 divided by 5 gives us an answer of 2.6 kilograms, because that's what's left over. Alright, now with velocity, we are looking at, we have our momentum, we have our mass. So in this case, momentum over mass, so we take our 700 kilograms meters per second over our 45 kilograms. So in this case, these two cancel out. So we have 700 divided by 45, an answer of 15.6 meters per second. Alright, now we can always use the triangle. We can always remember what our formulas are. That way it gives us the answer for what we need to go from there. Alright, now page 2, talking about acceleration. So remember, the formula for acceleration is going to be the change in velocity over time. So that's what acceleration is equal to. So our final minus our initial divided by time. And remember, this comes first before you need to put it in a calculator. So in this case, I have the need to find acceleration. So I have my final, which is going to be 30 meters per second, minus my 15 meters per second, because that's my initial. Final goes first, initial goes second. And then I divide it by 5. So in this case, I have 15 meters per second divided by 5 seconds. So that gives me an answer of 3 meters per second, or per second squared. So remember, velocity is always in meters per second, or meters per second squared. All right. At least that's the way I will give you all the questions. Okay. So with acceleration again, remember that we have our final first minus our initial. So that's an easy one. We just have 45 meters per second, and we divide that by our 10 to get our 4.5 meters per second. All right. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Make sure you look over everything. Make sure your foldable is done so you can use it on test. All right. Thank you much.